Hello again, fellow BeachBum traders. Thank you for joining us for part 2 of our weekly trading game plan for this week, the trading week of August 14th through August 18th, where we'll select our top swing trading stocks to watch. We'll talk about our bullpen stocks, review some of the trades that we made last week. We'll also talk about our dividend payers and some option strategies, as well as additional strategies and trade ideas for making money trading the week of August 14th through August 18th. So let's get started. So here's our Google document with our notes for part 2 of our weekly trading game plan for this week, August 14th through August 18th. We keep our notes for our weekly trading game plans in publicly accessible Google documents, and you can find a direct link to this Google document in the description box below. Our notes Google documents contain bonus links to videos, resources, to trade ideas that we use, etc. If you haven't already seen part 1 of our weekly trading game plan for this week, titled Back to School Sale in the Stock Market, we would highly recommend that you view part 1 as well, as that contains our market analysis and our trade ideas and strategies for making money trading this week of August 14th through August 18th. So again, we'd highly recommend you also view part 1, as that contains our strategies and trade ideas that provide the input into our part 2 of selecting our top swing trading stocks to watch. Welcome to Ricky Kahn, Walter Lyons, Born to Be Free. Thank you all for joining us in the chat today. Hope you all are doing well. We store all of our Google documents for our weekly trading game plan notes in a publicly accessible Google Drive folder, so you can refer back to the notes for part 1, etc. These notes, as well as notes from our previous weekly trading game plans, and the direct link to this Google Drive folder is accessible in the description box below. Welcome, Ali. Thank you for joining us. I won't slaughter your last name. So first we'll look at our trade for this week. Look at possible mistake, bad entry that I took on JYNT. We've had JYNT on our watch list for a little while. You'll see we went long on 8.9. I actually put this order in before I went to the beach on 8.8 at 12.87, and I'll explain some of my logic in that. And you'll see I got this was before earnings. Their earnings were supposed to be released on 8.10, and we'll talk about what happened with their earnings and the impact of that. You can hear our previous thesis on the joint company, the joint corporation, JYNT, via this short quick take video via the link in the description. So before I jump into more detail on that trade on JYNT, just if you'd like to get real-time trade alerts when we enter or exit a trade, you can get email notifications of those by joining any level of our Patreon, as well as help supporting our channel, our community. And as soon as I enter or exit a trade, I try to post that to the Patreon, so you get a email notification with the details of that trade. Also, we have a couple of alerts channels in our Discord that are accessible to any level of our Patreon, and I would post that. We have a couple. One is the Thinkorswim alerts channel, and I have a price targets set up in Thinkorswim. When those get triggered, it gets automatically posted to this Thinkorswim channel. And then if we follow that up with a trade, I would reply to that Thinkorswim alert. If it's not directly related to that Thinkorswim alert, like this trade for JYNT, I'll post it in the trade alerts channel that you can also see in our Discord. Now, as I always recommend, I don't recommend you blindly follow us or anyone else into or out of a trade. Recommend that you do your own due diligence, use your own trading style, your own indicators, criteria to determine your entries and exits into a trade. But if you'd find it helpful to see when we're entering and exiting trades, again, you can get that information via any level of our Patreon. Welcome, Easy Mike, Walter Lyons again. So let me jump over to Webull and we'll take a look at this trade. Again, I kind of got FOMO'd into this JYNT trade, probably not the best entry. Thank you very much for that super chat, Ollie in the Bay. Glad to see you again. Hope you have been doing well. Thank you very much. If there's anything that we can answer for you, help you succeed in your trading, please let us know. And thank you again very much for that super chat. So here's this JYNT trade. Again, I kind of got FOMO'd. If you're missing out, we knew they had earnings coming in on the 10th. I was watching this. We had our, if I zoom out a little bit, we can see that 1285, the previous 52-week low, looked like it had pretty good support at that level. I was watching this on the 8th. It looked like there was a block, a large bid sat at that 52, just above the 52-week low at 1286. So before I went to the beach on the 8th, I set an order just above that block bid at 1287. Then on Thursday, it looked like it was declining a little bit. You can see that's where it triggered my order. It looked like it was declining a little bit, weakening a little bit. And then on the 10th, going into earnings, again, they were announcing earnings, supposed to announce earnings after market on the 10th. It looked like, some sell off before earnings, which again, I'll talk in more detail about. You can see what the risk is of trading over an earnings report. And here we see, I'll tell you what happened with Joint as they were supposed to release their earnings after market. And they released an operating income statement, but they didn't release their earnings numbers. They said there was a delay due to an ongoing audit, and you can see the negative reaction that that had. People, immediately sold off because of this ongoing issue with an ongoing audit. So again, very negative sentiment, dropped down, a little bit of a rebound on Friday, a little bit more of a rebound after hours. Also wanted to look at the news, show you kind of, again, what happened in this case. So if we go a couple days back, again, part of my FOMO into this trade was I was hearing earning whispers that they were supposed to beat on earnings. So when it started running up a little bit on the 8th, I thought, okay, be a good time to get in on a dip before it runs up. Then again, they didn't release their actual earnings numbers. They said, again, there's this outstanding audit issue when they were supposed to announce on the 10th. And again, we see that very negative reaction. Then they got a couple downgrades from analysts. So even though they're maintaining a buy, Roth is maintaining a buy, they're lower than price target to 16. So again, I wanted to use this as a learning lesson of some of the risks of trading across earnings, as you never really know what they're going to say, what's going to happen. Again, the earnings whispers was that they were supposed to beat their actual operating income. What they said didn't sound bad, but again, that ongoing audit creates uncertainty and fear. We don't know what the issue is. We don't know when they're going to actually release their earnings numbers. So again, if you're not already in JYNT, I would wait till the dust settles with the downgrades. Again, if they announce when they're going to actually announce their earnings, that would be that's going to be a possible catalyst when they actually announce their earnings, but it could again be positive or negative. So it could drop even more at that event. So given that we're now, a bag holder in JYNT, it's underwater. I'll probably try to sell covered calls if we get a pop, get some volatility, sell some covered calls, and again, wait for that hopefully positive catalyst and a rebound. Now, this 1285 level and the 13 level are probably going to be a significant resistance. So again, it's going to take some oomph to get back over that level. Okay, so now we'll talk about our top swing trading stocks to watch list. These are ones that we're watching for this week, August 14th through the 18th. Let me grab a quick drink and then we'll go through our list and then we'll review these charts in Webull. Okay, we still have Disney, Walt Disney Company on our watch list. You see it did pop up above 90 on their deal with Penn Gaming and also their earnings. We'll see it did dip back down below 90. If it breaks down below 90, maybe we'll see a little bit of a short-term breakdown, particularly with the downtrending market. Again, you can hear our previous due diligence via this video I did for beginner trading a while back. We looked at the technology components yesterday, and we saw that the FANGs have broken down, the semiconductor stock cells broken down, ARC's broken down. So we're taking all of those off of our watch list in terms of a swing trade at this time, because the inverses, FANG D, SOX S, SARC have all run up at this point. Again, these are all opportunities for day trade, short-term trade, scalp trade. So those of you in our community that are day traders, scalp traders, etc., there's still going to be opportunities in these areas, but in terms of any trending swing trade, we're going to take them off of our watch list for now. Again, JYNT we talked about. We still have MJ on our watch list. Again, it's did dip down a little bit, as we'll see. We'll see if we get a chance to get in. MP Materials, same, seems to be trending down, not quite at the price that I'd like it. Again, you can hear our due diligence, why we like MP Materials via this video in the link in the notes, as well as on our BeachBum Trading YouTube channel. O Realty. Again, this is a REIT. It's a dividend aristocrat. Just a heads up. On the 4th, they announced an at-the-market offering of up to 120 million shares. So that's going to put some overhead resistance on O. So again, once they finish that offering, then that overhead resistance will be relieved, and hopefully it'll swing back up again. We'll look at it again in the dividend payer sheet and the risk reward profile where we'd like to buy it. Talked about removing SOX S, SOXS as semiconductors are broken down. You can see our previous video on how to make money trading semiconductors with SOXL and SOXS. I'm going to take UROI off as well. Uranium's run up, as we saw yesterday as well. We always have a set of uranium stocks, and you can hear our preferred uranium stocks via this link to our best uranium stocks to buy now in the description. So if we see that sector rotation out of uranium, we'll look at those uranium stocks again, and we can always add them back into our watch list. So if you would like to also get more frequent updates to our watch lists, including price targets, optionality, dividend payment information, earnings report dates, etc., you can get that information via an automatically generated web page that's accessible to any level of our Patreon. So if you join our Patreon at any level, you get access to this automatically generated web page. It gets updated at the end of each day. And then if I make more frequent updates to our watch list, I post those in another channel that's accessible to our Patreon members, the Stocks Watch List channel. So again, if I update anything further after that web page has been published, then I'll post that in the Stocks Watch List channel in our Discord. And again, any level of our Patreon will give you access to all of that information. So now let's look at our top swing trading stocks to watch list stocks in Webull. Welcome to Crow. Thank you for joining us. So here again is Disney. They got the Penn Gaming news and then earnings. You can see the volatility on their earnings report. It's pretty dramatic earnings. Ran up into the low 90s, just broke a little below 90. Again, pretty volatile. As you'll see, we also have we're selling a cash secured put down at 85. Also, if it broke down 85, below 85, we'd look at also buying shares. So we'll see if Disney comes back down or if it stays up at that 90 level. MJ, again, ETF on cannabis, anywhere below 3, around 3 is pretty good. 291 you can see is the recent low, so we'll see if we get a little bit of a dip. We've scalped MJ before and made some money. We'll see if we get a little bit of a swing in MJ again. MP Materials, we can see from a little bit of longer term chart, it's been trending down, had a little bit of pop up on restrictions out of China on rare earth materials exports. So again, I'd like MP, the previous low was about 20. It seems to be downtrending. Again, we'll kind of see where it settles in, and if we can get it cheaper, we would like that. Realty income. Again, we see it's downtrending. Again, I mentioned that ATM at the market share offering, so that's a negative catalyst. So, it's a further dilution. So essentially, the value is going to decrease. We don't know exactly when they'll sell those shares, but typically they will sell those shares when the price pops up. So essentially, on any pop, you're going to get downward pressure. So again, that's going to be an overhead resistance on O. Ideally 55, anywhere below 55, these previous lows. There's a 57, I think there's a 58.13 as a support. Well, 57, so support in the mid 57s would be pretty good, would improve the risk reward, but we're tracking that risk reward also in our dividend payers spreadsheet to get the best type of return. Again, the value of O is more in the price appreciation than just their dividends. Their dividends about 25 cents a month, but not a bad place to park some cash and get that price appreciation if you're getting a decent price. So again, we'll look at that in the dividend payers in a minute. Okay, let me grab a quick drink and then we'll go over our bullpen stocks. Just a quick reminder, if you're not already using Webull, they're still offering 12 free fractional stocks for opening and then funding an account with any amount. They're also offering 5% interest on your uninvested cash in a cash account. So as you see, we use Webull for our market analysis, due diligence, the majority of our trading. So again, if you're not already using Webull, if you sign up using our affiliate link in the description box below, you can get these 12 free stocks, 5% interest, and help support our BeachBum trading community. So we appreciate that. Okay, so our bullpen stocks, if you're new to our channel, the concept of the bullpen stocks are not ones that we're watching real time, but they might present an attractive setup in the near future. So I put them in the bullpen. revisit them at the end of each day if their setup is more attractive, and we put them in the game. We move them up to our real-time top swing trading stocks to watch list. If they break down or run away, then we just take them out of the bullpen. Again, these are just ones that I look at the end of each day generally, and then decide whether to put them in the game or take them off. So the first one we've had on the bullpen for a little while is ACNT to play sector rotation in and out of steel. You can hear our previous discussions, quick due diligence on ACNT via the bonus link in the notes. AXTI is a semiconductor. It's kind of a small cap semiconductor, hasn't really participated, and also didn't really break down with the other semiconductors. So again, you can hear our further analysis, due diligence on AXT via the bonus link in the notes. One we're adding back into the bullpen that we've swung recently profitably is MPW. This is a medical properties. It's another REIT on healthcare facilities, on hospitals. We'll see it decline pretty significantly late in the week. So on that decline, I want to see where it's going to bottom and see if we can get back into MPW. Again, it's a monthly dividend payer. Again, a profitable REIT that we swung before. Similarly, we've been talking about NSA, which is a REIT on public storage facilities. Again, we've been watching it as another potential dividend payer and some price appreciation once that trend reverses. So again, been pretty negative recently. It looks like it might be bottoming. So again, you can hear further about NSA, our quick take due diligence on NSA via the bonus link in the notes. And we're going to take SARK off, which is the inverse on the ARK-K, as it's already run up. ARK's broken down along with the other technology components. We're going to leave SPWR. Again, this is a potential swing in solar. Sentiment on solar has been pretty negative. They slashed their guidance on weakening demand is residential solar. So again, the sentiment generally in residential solar is pretty negative, but some others like First Solar have done quite well. So there's some dichotomy in that sector. We'll see where Power continues to break down. We'll see where it bottoms, swings back up. If the sentiment shifts in solar, this might be one that we would trade for that sector rotation back into solar. So let's look at the charts for the bullpen stocks real quickly. So again, I'm on the stock screen in the online browser version of Webull. Another nice feature of Webull is, as you can see, you can have a whole bunch of different watch lists, quick and easy to flip between them. Quickly review. So again, at the end of the day, I just spin through the stocks on the watch list, see if they're closer to my ideal price target. If so, then we'll put them in the game. See ACNT is kind of running up. I was, questioning whether to take it off, but it does look like it's getting some resistance at that pivot point. We'll see if we get a swing back down with a sector rotation out of steel. AXTI, again, the semiconductor, looks like it's downtrending somewhat with the semiconductors. If it hits our, price target, the previous low was 247. So we'll see if it comes back down to that support level. This one might be a nice reversal and swing back up in semiconductors, maybe up to the $4 level. So about $1.50 of potential reward, a little more than 50%. Here's MPW. We see this steep decline in MPW. So again, this is the hospital REIT. Again, their earnings report. When they announced earnings, there was a pretty significant drop. So we see that steep drop. There's our previous line on MP. We'll take that one off. And again, we'll see, where it bottoms again. Previous supports down at 688, 70. high sixes, low sevens. So look at the news. I think it was generally a negative on their earnings, price cut. So again, we'll see where MPW bottoms and starts to swing back up. And then again, we'd be interested in parking some cash in that to collect their dividend. We see their dividend is monthly. It's been about, dividend is quarterly at about 29 cents, so monthly about 10 cents. So not a huge dividend. So more so for the price appreciation than the dividend. Again, we'll look at that dividend payers spreadsheet again in a minute. NSA, again, this read on public storage, again, been downtrending. Looks like it finally may be establishing a support level in the 31s, bottom just below 31. So maybe that was a capitulation. Maybe we'll see some support, but I'd like to see that level hold before we put it in the game and possibly take a position in NSA. And you can see it pays, 56-cent dividend quarterly. And you can see here's a nice way, as we pointed out before, to see the dividend frequency and amounts in Webull is look at the little D's at the bottom of a longer term chart. So this is how I generally determine the frequency of dividend payers. And we've been watching SPWR. Again, it's been, generally downtrending. We want to see it, establish a good support level, good bottom, and it's just right now just decaying down. So we want to see, again, that good support level and then a swing back up. Again, with a general sentiment change in solar, that might be a positive. Okay. The shopping list we talked about in more detail in part 1 as part of our strategies, trade ideas for how to make money trading a back-to-school sale in the stock market. So I would refer you to that more detailed discussion on how to build a shopping list, how to take advantage of any back-to-school sale in the stock market via the link, again, in the notes and or on our YouTube channel. This is part 1. Yesterday. So again, we had a more detailed discussion on the shopping list yesterday. So I want to jump into other trade ideas. First, we'll talk about dividend payers. We've got quite a few additions to our dividend payers I want to share with you. So I'll bring up our dividend payers Google Sheet and we'll go through the changes. Just a quick reminder that if you'd like to have 24/7 access to this dividend payers Google Sheet, if you join our Patreon at the all access or VIP level, then you'll get access to this dividend payers Google Sheet as well as the ETF Google Sheet and our puts ROIC Google Sheet as well that we'll also be reviewing in a few minutes. So first, some additions and some changes to our dividend payers Google Sheets. First, I heard about several other potential dividend payers for potential consideration from a video from the ETF Guide YouTube channel. It's a channel I also listen to, helps identify ETFs that we might want to add to our various ETF or dividend payers Google Sheet, and they identified several: ENFR, which is one we already had, SDOG, REIT, REIT, and EQL. So I added those to the add tab so I could do the research on those briefly. So we'll take a quick look at those in our dividend payers sheet. So any dividend payers I want to evaluate, I can plug those into a row in the add sheet, and then I can get the price data from the Google Finance functions that are in that Google Sheet, and then I can identify the support and resistance levels. Let me see if that's too small. No, that's okay. So then I manually look at their FinBiz, so you can access their FinBiz chart via the link in the notes. So then I manually identify support and resistance, bottom and top, plug those in, and then we can see what their adjusted yield comes out to. So we can see for SDOG, it's a potential candidate. It's got 11% adjusted yield. Its actual yield's only 4%. We can see the risk reward profile of those, and not, in the price appreciation is not great, but that might be one that we might want to consider adding, given that the adjusted yield is 11%. REIT, again, this is a general ETF on REITs. Again, it's got about a 10% quarterly. Again, the risk reward profile is not real great, but again, 10% adjusted yield. So we'll keep an eye on those in our add tab. And if they come down to a support level, that might be something that, that will improve the risk reward profiles. Might be some that we want to consider parking some cash in. Again, as a general dividend payer, you can see they pay quarterly. Again, I identified this using the Webull Stocks screen. EQL, you can see it's only got a 2% yield, and it's only 2.54 adjusted, so that's not really one of interest. If it's not over 5%, right now I can get 5% or near 5% in money markets and treasuries, etc. So that's the whole TINA. There is no alternative. Well, it's TARA, right? As there are reasonable alternatives, and nowadays money markets and treasuries paying 5% or better, are better than these below 5% dividend payers, which again have a little bit higher risk. But again, additional potential dividend payers, we've got them in our add tab. We can keep an eye and see if their risk reward profile improves. And again, thank you to the ETF guide for identifying those. I find that, helpful as well. And you can get more information about each of those via this video and ETF guide via the link in the description. So another set, let me grab a drink a second, and then I want to talk about a set of yield max ETFs that I also identified as potential opportunities. Let me grab a drink a second. Okay, another set of dividend payers that we identified this week are these yield max ETFs that they're doing on individual stocks, and we'll take a look at those. We'll look at APLY. This was the one that interested me, as this is a covered calls type strategy on Apple. So I'll bring that one up in FinBiz just so we can see the basic nature of APLY. So you can see that's an option income strategy on Apple. See, it's currently paying about a 33% yield. So you can see these are relatively new. Some are not even, well, they're all in FinBiz. Some started in August, so they have a very short history. So we don't have a very long history on any of these. You see the yields, pretty high. Some are optionable, some are not. We see what their strategy is, selling, writing call options. So again, this is a covered call strategy specifically on Apple. So I got interested in this, particularly with the decline in Apple. We see where it dropped off. So I want to keep an eye on these yield max dividend payers. We did add APLY to our main dividend payer sheet, so we can keep an eye on that. I want to see where that bottoms when we get a bottom or support level in Apple. But again, at that 33% yield, that's pretty attractive. So we would be interested in APLY when we see a bottom in Apple. Again, if we look at Apple and FinViz, we see it's decline, but it's got, room to drop. So it broke down below its moving average, got, room down to the longer term moving average. So wherever that bottoms, we might jump into a chunk of APLY and hold that, to collect the dividends, because Apple in general is reasonably secure. The other thing is we don't really have a lot of history in APLY or any of these yield max to see what kind of decay they might incur from their options covered call strategy. So again, I'd like to see a little more history on some of these to see how they're going to behave. So some of the others we can see from, well, here's the link to that yield max sheet. So you can access this directly via the link in the notes. Also, I added it on the screeners sheet of our ETF Google sheet for quick reference in the future. So we can jump over to that list of yield max ETFs. So you can see they have one on ARK, OARK, Tesla, TSLY. We already had TSLY in our dividend payers. We're adding APLY. They've got one on NVIDIA, NVDY, Amazon, Google, Facebook or Meta, and Netflix. Again, many of these just came out in August, so they have a very short history. It's hard to determine, their support and resistance, etc. Some of them have a little bit longer history. So you see I added those to the add tab. And again, we have the Tesla one, and I'll be doing further research on some of the others as they establish more history in the add sheet. So right now we can see NVIDIA, NVDY. We see it's got a 47% yield. OARK, the one on ARK, has a 56% yield. So again, I haven't been able to get support and resistance on some of them, and some of the Google Finance functions aren't reporting on them yet because they're relatively new. See, they all pay monthly. So again, we'll do further research on some of these other yield maxes. And again, the philosophy would be very similar to APLY, is we're looking for a bottom or support level in the underlying stock, and then see how these yield max ETFs perform relative to the stock. But again, they look like, very high dividend payers on some pretty, large mega cap tech stocks. I do, again, as I mentioned yesterday, expect, a rotation flight to safety into the mega cap techs as well. So again, we get some price appreciation as well as this high dividend yield, assuming these guys perform pretty well relative to the underlying stock. So again, I wanted to share that all with you. Again, a couple references. We can keep an eye on these, and as we get further information about those yield maxes, we'll point that out to you as well. But again, another potential opportunity for parking some cash while we wait for better swing trading opportunities and collect a nice monthly dividend doing so. So before I jump into the dividend payers sheet, we'll look at a couple others. If anyone has a particular request you want to look at a dividend payer, let me know. And if you'd like us to do research on some other dividend payers, you can put that in the comments, in our Discord, etc. You can contact us via social media. We've got a Reddit community, Facebook group. You can find links to all our social media on our homepage, beachbumtrading.com, bum without the U. So again, if you'd like us to do research on a dividend payer or an ETF or do due diligence on a particular stock, you can let us know via any of those methods. And again, tag us in the Discord so that we're notified and we can follow up appropriately. Again, we're BeachBum Trading in our Discord. BeachBum Trading, all lowercase, no pounds, no numbers. Again, our Discord is free to join. So you can find an invite in the description box below, as well as in the link section of our homepage. So, We welcome and encourage everyone to join our Discord, join in the discussions. So I see you guys are having a great discussion about other topics in the live chat. I appreciate all your participation. Welcome Ellen Krantz as well. So again, we can keep these discussions going in our Discord, 24/7 as well. So I see a couple. Somebody said SAR, Jeff B, JPQ. Let me grab a drink and we'll spin through the dividend payers sheet. Okay, so you can see the addition of APLY showing positive, showing 33% yield. So again, the general risk reward's not that high, but again, it has such a high monthly yield, so it's pretty attractive. See the support level, so we're keeping an eye on where Apple bottoms, and APLY will keep an eye on that in the dividend payers sheet. Saw people talking about JEPI, JEPQ. Again, these are monthly dividend payers on the NASDAQ and the S&P. Pretty nice 10% yield or so. I've been watching these. I'd kind of like them to come down. So as the market declines, as we've seen, these risk reward profiles might be more attractive. And then again, JEPI, JEPQ are pretty popular dividend payers. So again, we'd be interested when they offer a little bit of a better risk reward. But again, 10% is better than even the 5% in money markets and treasuries. So someone mentioned, I want to look at MPW. So right now, again, we see MPWs above support. So we're really looking for price appreciation, although it does offer a 13% yield right now. We'd like to see where it's going to bottom. It become more attractive when it gets closer to support. Look at Realty Income. Again, its actual yield's only just above 5%, but its price appreciation is where the real money is in so we'd like it down, in the low mid 50s, at least maybe 57. I was playing around with the numbers in 57s. I can change these and then see what the adjusted yield comes out to by adjusting the support in the Google sheet. So again, if you're all access or VIP Patreon member, you can make a copy of any of these Google sheets, adjust the prices, see what the impact is. Again, you won't get the updates to the gray columns, which are the support, resistance, etc., that our automated systems update at the end of each day. But again, you can make a copy and then play around with the formulas and see where different support levels, what kind of yield that would provide you. Again, if you're an all access or VIP member of our Patreon, you should be able to make a copy of any of our Google Sheets. Someone was mentioning SAR. As you can see, it's got about a 10% yield. It's got some price appreciation up to 20%. You can also see the industry and whether it's optionable via the columns to the right. So if it's optionable, you can also sell covered calls and generate additional income. We've been talking about treasuries. So last week we talked about that we're watching TLTW. So when we see a bottom in TLT, so again, treasuries, 20-year treasuries did bounce up a little bit. So if it does bottom, we'd be looking for a bottom in TLTW. You see it pays 7%. Again, the price appreciation is really where the value is in TLTW. We have a position in TMF. You can see it does pay some. but TLT pays better dividend, but again, it's in the price appreciation, not so much in the dividend itself. UAN, keep an eye on that. Just paid out its dividend, so we've got some time. NSA, another one we're watching. So here's NSA. See, it's about 7%. Again, the price appreciation. It pays quarterly. So again, we'd like it, if it holds about that 31 level, 30.91. That's where NSA would be attractive. Again, got decent price appreciation plus 56-cent quarterly dividend. So if anyone in the chat wants to look at any other dividend payers, let us know. Otherwise, we'll move on. So another way that we're making money while we wait for swing trading opportunities to present themselves is with option strategies. So we've got a couple of strategies: selling covered calls, buying them back cheaper, selling, in our case, cash secured puts, selling those back cheaper. So we'll look at our puts ROIC. There's our Google sheet. I made some changes to this as well to hopefully help us identify more immediate opportunities to sell puts. So again, just a reminder, by joining our Patreon at the All Access or VIP level, you also get access to this puts ROIC Google sheet. Again, helps us identify opportunities to sell and then buy back puts. So some of the changes I made to this Google sheet this week. Last week, we asked the question if we should change the ROIC calculation. I didn't really get any feedback, but I've thought about this further. So I've changed the potential profit calculations to use the daily high. So that's, the highest that someone has paid in the past day minus the 52-week low. So I'm saying, hey, here's what someone was willing to pay, the highest they would pay today minus the lowest someone's paid in the year. I mean, the lowest obviously is 0 if you let it expire worthless. But I thought that would be a better near-term calculation of the ROIC. The ROIC is based on the potential profit. I also added another another column, another calculation of ROIC, which is based on the sell price that I've entered in column AB. So I go back and look at the past couple months, look at where the previous high was over the near term, and that would be the price that I would try to sell a put at, put that in the sell price, and then I calculate the ROIC based on that sell price, which we'll see, can be significantly different than the daily high. So I'm hoping that these changes will help all of us identify, immediate opportunities to sell puts, buy them back cheaper, generate additional income. Again, you can see the evolution of our option strategies. We've got a whole series, option strategies for beginners with examples. We also have additional videos on how to sell covered calls, how to sell puts, etc. in our options YouTube video. Alan Krantz asking about Jackson Hole. Jackson Hole is the 25th and 26th, so that'll be next week. So we'll probably talk about strategies around Jackson Hole next week. So again, if anyone has a particular options put that you would like to look at, I'll show you, what we've got right now. I'll show you those changes. Grab a quick drink. Okay, so as I mentioned, I changed the formula of the potential profit to be based off of column P. So column P is the daily high. It was previously the 52-week high. So again, we can see the potential profit, is more dynamic. And then the ROIC is based on the potential profit. So we can see based on the current price of Disney at 85, the ROIC is pretty poor. Also added this column of, okay, I've identified a near-term sell price for Disney in September as $4.95. So based on that, we can see it's almost a 5%, so 4.8%. So again, this allows me to see, if anybody is more attractive at this price, I can adjust these sell prices and see what the return on invested capital would be at that sell price. You can see we still have our sell out, or our sell was filled on Moderna. It still hasn't been exercised. So if that expires worthless, then we're going to just collect $6.25 in premium. We'll try to buy it back again at, at or below the 52-week low, or just let it expire again and collect the premium as a self-generated dividend. So again, I hope these changes will help us identify those that have a return on invested capital. Again, you want to see a return, or we want to see a return of 5% or more. Otherwise, I'm making 5% on my idle cash. So again, I'm hoping this will help us better identify profitable opportunities to sell puts. So again, you could see those. If there's no sell price entered, then it's not going to calculate an ROIC. So you see that one on the NASDAQ at $3 would be good, but right now it's only selling at 45. So we'll see with the decline in the NASDAQ if that current high picks up. And again, all these gray columns are updated by our automated systems at the end of the day, and we collect this options data daily. Also added the same columns to the research tab. So again, same change to potential profits, now based on the daily high. So the ROIC is based on that. And then if we put a sell price in, then it will calculate the ROIC, return on invested capital, based on that sell price. So again, we can identify any others that might be attractive that we might want to add. This Sedge, the solar guy, you see it's, if you're willing to take the risk, I think it's a little bit risky. It's been declining. It's solar, the sentiment's pretty negative, but the September is offering a better than 5% ROIC at the near high. So you can see how that helps us identify potential opportunities there. We talked about the NVIDIA earnings. Alan Krantz is asking about the NVIDIA earnings. If I recall correctly, I think NVIDIA earnings are the 23rd. You can easily see that if you go to FinViz and just look up NVIDIA or in Webull. So again, if you'd like us to research any additional puts, strikes, expirations, please let us know, and we can plug those into the research tab and see what the ROICs come out to based on whatever prices you want to use. And again, we use this option seller tool at the end of each day to identify any other potentials that meet our criteria for potentially selling a put. So again, you can access that on the tools. Again, if you are an all-access or VIP member of our Patreon, you should be able to make a copy of this puts ROIC Google Sheet. Then you can set your own prices, etc. You just won't get the automatic updates at the end of the day, but you can always, again, make another copy and get the updates that way via copying our Google Sheet. So again, we hope that all helps. So if anyone has any last minute questions, please throw them back up in the chat. Again, if you're watching this video after the fact, or you think of something you'd like to ask or add later, you can always put it in the comments to this video, put it in our Discord, contact us via social media, etc. So plenty of ways, and we'll try to follow up and answer any questions. We also greatly appreciate your feedback on how we can improve our weekly trading game plans, our videos, our community. Please let us know how we can add more value, make our community as valuable as possible to all of our BeachBum traders, and also help you succeed in your trading career and make money trading. Thank you again, Ollie in the Bay, for that super chat earlier. Again, we greatly appreciate it. If there's anything we could do in return, please let us know. We always appreciate that. Okay. So again, please let us know if you have any other questions, comments, feedback, etc. Otherwise, we hope that you have a great trading week, August 14th through August 18th, and we hope you'll all come back next week, same time, same bat time, same bat channel, 10 a.m. Eastern, Saturdays and Sundays, and we'll do our weekly trading game plan for the following week. We also have videos we release throughout the week, and hopefully you will choose to subscribe to our YouTube channel, BeachBum Trading YouTube channel. We hope you'll like this video and share it with your fellow traders and friends. Let us help them also make money trading, succeed in their trading career as well as build our community for the mutual benefit of all of our fellow BeachBum traders. So we greatly appreciate all your support, and have a good luck and have a great trading week.